findings.
Very well. Then the state may call its first witness.
Thank you, Judge. State call Sargent Dave Wanner.
My name is Sargent David, D-A-V-I-D, Wanner, W-A-N-N-E-R.
Thank you. Go ahead, Attorney Opper, your witness.
Thank you. Sir, how are you employed?
I'm a patrol sergeant with the City of Waukesha Police Department.
How long have you worked in law enforcement?
18 years.
And as patrol sergeant, what are your general duties and responsibilities?
I oversee officers across all shifts that are assigned to the patrol division.
I want to direct your attention to the date of November 21, 2021. Did you work that day?
Yes.
Were there any events occurring in the city of Waukesha that afternoon?
The Waukesha Christmas Parade was that afternoon.
Has the Christmas parade been held in years prior to 2021?
Yes, every year that I've been employed at the police department, we've had a Christmas parade.
And is it typically that third week in November before Thanksgiving?
Yes, every year that I can remember it has been.
Okay. Is there any planning or preparation that goes into holding a parade in Waukesha?
Yes, there are meetings with the group that's putting on the parade in advance. There's also a group of individuals that prior to the parade, usually the Friday before, will post no parking signs along the parade route. There's a group from our city garage, our Department of Public Works, that'll put out barricades at the designated intersections where we request them to put them out.
And what about manpower? What type of manpower would you devote to an event like this, sir?
It's rather significant given the large area that a parade like this encompasses, the estimated amount of attendance at the parade between detectives, police officers, supervisors, reserve officers, community service officers. I would say we have in excess of 30 additional bodies planned that day just to handle the parade itself.
You mentioned the use of individuals such as reserve officers and community service officers, I think you said. Is that correct?
Yes.
Are those sworn law enforcement officers?
They are not sworn, no.
What is their role or function?
The reserve officer group is a group of people who volunteer their time to help with events like parades. They're given training in directing traffic and closing streets down. A community service officer is a paid position. They're part-time employees, usually younger individuals looking to learn more about a career in law enforcement.
And you said also parking attendants would be assisting in this endeavor?
Correct. We're usually looking to get as many extra bodies as we can, and the assistance from our parking agents is usually required for this event as well.
And this would be in addition to the sworn law enforcement officers that are assigned to work the parade?
Correct.
And obviously you still need other officers to patrol the city, correct?
Yes.
Where is the parade held?
The parade takes up a large portion of our downtown area. There's a staging area that the floats before the parade that they're all instructed to assemble in a particular area along White Rock Avenue between Niagara Street and Main Street. And that's about a 3-hour process of getting all the parade participants into that area and lined up accordingly. The parade itself runs along Main Street from White Rock westbound to the Veterans Park area where it makes a turn and then heads up Wisconsin Avenue and ends near the Waukesha Public Library.
Sir, if I could ask you to stand up and refer to the diagram behind you. This is a map that's been marked as States Exhibit number 1. Do you see that sticker in the bottom right-hand corner?
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry, it's a little tight up there.
Sorry.
But if you could start in the upper right-hand corner of the map. And, yes, what's up there, please?
That is Frame Park.
And what's at Frame Park?
Frame Park has a lot of, it's got a playground for children, there's a very large baseball diamond, different shelters, there's a formal garden, there's a boat launch. It's a very large park in our city that encompasses a lot of different activities.
Is the boat launch shown on Exhibit 1?
Yes, right here.
Okay. And the waterway that's shown on the exhibit, what is that waterway?
That is the Fox River.
Now, is the parade route shown on Exhibit 1?
Sorry, Attorney Upper, can you give me 1 second? Mr. Brooks, just a reminder, you're not muted.
Oh,
All right, I'm sorry for the interruption. Go ahead.
I'm sorry too. I thought I was muted. I apologize.
That's okay. Thank you so much.
Go ahead and point out the parade route, please.
So the parade route in this map is essentially this purple line. This area here is what I referred to earlier as a staging area. And then actually at this corner right here, westbound is where the parade route would follow down to the corner here. I refer to this as Veterans Park. That's that area there. And then it would turn up Wisconsin Avenue and end around the library right here, which is that green area.
Now, can you describe for us where the road was actually shut off by police so that no motorist could actually travel down the road?
Sure. I mean, this actually further north than here, it's off the map, is where we had our first point of shutdown. It was at White Rock Avenue and Niagara Street. We used Niagara Street to divert any traffic that would have come that direction. So then along here, there would have been shut down at Niagara. There's another street called Perkins where it was shut down. And then right here is Baxter Street, where we had the street shut down. Additionally, here along the staging route, North Hartwell Avenue here was shut down on both sides of it to ensure no traffic entered into the staging area while that space was occupied.
Okay. All right. Please have a seat, sir. Their locations along the route here.
At 1 p.m. is when the initial few officers head out to secure the staging area. So they're out there from 1 o'clock until about 3:30. Between 3 and 3:30 is when the rest of the personnel assigned to the parade would have arrived at their locations along the route.
All right. And there's somebody that's running the parade as far as lining up the participants and making sure everybody that's walking in the parade is where they're supposed to be, correct?
Correct.
Is there a title for that person?
Boy, I wouldn't know.
Your objection's noted, it's overruled. He may testify about the question asked.
Or is there somebody that you were dealing with directly that was kind of responsible for the units of the parade and you're responsible for the security of the parade?
Yes, there was
Overruled, he may answer.
There is a lady from the Chamber of Commerce who put on the parade that just prior to the parade starting, I had a face-to-face contact with to inform her that the route was ready for the parade.
Now, how do you know that? How do you know that the route was ready to go?
Between 3:30 and 4 o'clock, I had driven the route several times within the parade route on the street that was shut down. It was my duty as the incident commander of the parade to make sure that the officers or personnel assigned to the parade were all in their location, that all the barricades were in place, that there was no holes in the parade route that we missed in the planning, and as a final security sweep of the route just to ensure everything was in place as we had planned for it to be.
Can you estimate how many spectators were present?
Objection.
At what time?
I'm sorry, at the start of the parade.
Thousands. Once the parade had started, I was not on the route anymore. I think the last time I drove the route itself would have been just before 4 o'clock as my final lap through.
Okay. And there's spectators on both sides of the road, north and south sides of Main Street?
Correct.
And all the way from Hartwell all the way down to Veterans Park at the end there near Wisconsin Avenue?
Yes, I'd say the majority of this.
Oh, hold on, there's been an objection. Go ahead, what's your objection?
That is hearsay. We can't know
Um,
for sure where everybody was at.
The objection is noted. It is overruled based upon the foundation previously laid by the witness. Go ahead.
The spectators are primarily from the intersection of White Rock and Main Street westbound.
So you were satisfied it was appropriately safe to start the parade, is that right, sir?
Yes.
What did you do?
I had face-to-face contact with the organizer of the parade. I indicated to her that I checked the route and from the police side of things that we were ready for the parade to proceed, and let her know that she could begin whenever she was ready.
About what time of day was that?
It was right about 4 p.m.
And you had mentioned the units were staging on White Rock near where you were posted, is that right?
Yes.
And did you see, as the units would enter the parade route, then they all kind of move forward, I'm assuming?
Yes,
Hearsay.
Overruled.
the parade participants are set up on either side of White Rock Avenue, and they're kind of funneled together into almost a zipper type fashion as they enter the parade route.
And as they march forward towards the parade route, then at some point is the road behind them vacant?
Correct.
And what do you do when that happens?
We try to cause as little disruption in the city. Shutting down White Rock Avenue, it's a very major thoroughfare in the city, and having it shut down for that extended period of time causes some pretty significant traffic problems. So as the road is no longer occupied by parade participants, we try to open up the road from behind them, keeping the back of the parade shut down, always taking into account a street for a car to turn off onto. So
Did you remain in that same position near White Rock and Hartwell?
yes.
And do you remember how you had your squad positioned?
Objection, that's hearsay.
Overruled.
I had my squad positioned across White Rock Avenue in an east-west fashion, essentially in the middle of the roadway. The road is much wider than the SUV squad I was driving is. I positioned it that way to give a visual representation to motorists that the road wasn't open.
And is your squad marked or unmarked?
It is unmarked.
Objection, irrelevant.
It's relevant. The answer may stand. Make sure if you hear an objection, sir, that you wait until I rule on it too. Thank you.
Are there red and blue lights on your squad car, sir?
Yes.
Objection, irrelevant.
Overruled. The answer may stand.
Did you have your red and blue lights activated as it was parked across the roadway?
Objection, irrelevant.
Overruled.
Yes.
You remember hearing something about a disturbance near the boat launch?
Yes.
Objection, hearsay.
Are you offering it for the...
Foundational, Your Honor.
Or it's not being offered for the truth of the matter. Asserted, the objection is overruled. He may answer. I believe he answered yes, and it may stand.
All right. What do you remember hearing about an incident at the boat launch?
When I was near my position on Hartwell and White Rock, I was speaking with one of our reserve officers. We were discussing the proper timing of the opening of the road. And I overheard actually on his police radio that he was wearing squads that were not assigned to the parade being sent to a fight at Frayne Park that involved knives.
Were you aware of any vehicles being associated with that fight?
Objection, irrelevant.
Overruled. He may answer.
I did not hear of any vehicles associated.
What do you remember next, sir?
I remember seeing and hearing squads responding to this fight at Frayne Park. And at that time, we were still focused on opening up the roadway. and I made my way back toward my unmarked police vehicle, and I looked to my right or to the north down White Rock Avenue, and I saw a red SUV traveling toward me at a high rate of speed.
What do you mean by a high rate of speed, sir?
Objection, that's hearsay.
Overruled. He may answer.
I believe the vehicle was traveling in excess of 40 miles per hour.
What's the posted speed limit there on White Rock Avenue?
It's a 25 mile per hour zone.
What about Main Street in downtown Waukesha? What's the posted speed limit there, sir?
The speed limit
Irrelevant.
Overruled. It's relevant.
the speed limit throughout the parade route is 25 miles per hour.
What did you do when you saw this red SUV traveling at a high rate of speed?
Objection, leading the witness.
The objection is noted. It's overruled.
When I saw the red SUV traveling toward me at a high rate of speed, I used both hands and waved them overhead like this in an attempt to catch the attention of the driver.
Were you dressed in a police uniform, sir?
Yes.
Did the car continue in your direction, or the SUV?
Yes, it did.
What did you observe the path of travel for the SUV to be?
Objection, that's hearsay.
Mr. Brooks, it's not hearsay. Your objection is overruled. You may answer.
Could you state the question one more time?
Sure. Where did you see the SUV go? Better question.
Objection, irrelevant.
Overruled.
The SUV entered the parade route.
I want you to describe what you remember seeing as it passed your location, please.
As I was waving my hands overhead, I was approximately 6 feet from where the SUV was driving. As the driver passed essentially in front of me by about 6 feet, I could see the operator of the vehicle and just a dazed, straight, focused look straight ahead, not looking at anyone.
Did the driver appear to respond to your efforts to stop the vehicle?
There was absolutely no response.
Did you notice the car slow down in any fashion?
No, in fact,
Hearsay.
It's not hearsay. It's overruled. He may answer.
as the SUV passed me, I looked over the hood or the top of the police vehicle that I had positioned on the road there, fully expecting that as it passed that I would see the car slam on its brakes as it realized it had entered the parade route, figuring it was a lost motorist. I didn't see that happen. It continued into the parade route at a high rate of speed.
What did you do?
Upon seeing that, I got on my radio in an attempt to notify other personnel assigned to the parade route. I stated that a red SUV had just blown by me.
Do you remember using those exact words, sir?
Objection, that's irrelevant.
Overruled. He may answer.
I don't know if I said a red or maroon SUV, but I remember saying that it had blown by me.
Were there parade units still on White Rock attempting to get onto the parade route at that point?
Yes.
Objection.
Were you able to see the vehicle clearly as it went?
He
I'm sorry.
objected. It's overruled. Go ahead.
From where you were standing there, were you able to turn and watch the SUV as it traveled past you down White Rock towards Main Street?
Objection.
Overruled.
Just asked that.
I only watched it for a short period of time before returning to my squad car, knowing that some sort of police action was going to need to be taken.
What did you do once you got to your squad?
I got in my squad car and was bombarded with the most terrible Is the most terrible thing I ever heard.
The sounds. Yes. You didn't see anything at that point as far as people getting hit?
No.
Okay. I want to show you a video clip, sir. Did you see that clip, sir?
Yes.
Is that a video clip you've seen before?
I have seen that, yes.
Okay. Do you believe that's a true and accurate representation of the SUV traveling on White Rock Avenue near the start of the parade at Main Street?
Yes.
Move for admission and permission to publish, Your Honor.
Any objection, Mr. Brooks?
Can you repeat that? I'm sorry.
The state just moved admission of Exhibit 2.
No, I object to that. Keep it.
All right, the objection's noted, it's overruled. Exhibit 2, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, is received. Permission to publish is granted.
Thank you. Sergeant Wanner, is that consistent with the vehicle you saw traveling away from you past the parade floats that were about to enter the route?
Yes.
And is that consistent with the approximate speed you saw it traveling?
Yes.
After you became aware that something terrible was happening on the parade route, your incident commander, what do you do?
I drove in my police vehicle down toward the area that I just heard repeated over and over on the radio where the casualties had taken place, and that would have been at Main and Gaspar. And once I got to that position, I parked my vehicle as it was impossible to drive any further.
Was there a call made for assistance?
Yes, I don't know who said it, but an officer used a code over the police radio basically requesting police assistance from any officer in the county that would be listening.
Did multiple officers respond
Yes.
from within Waukesha County?
From
The objection irrelevant.
Overruled.
Waukesha County and far beyond.
Thank you, sir. I don't have any other questions at this time.
Mr. Brooks, do you have any questions for this witness?
Yes, I do. Good afternoon, officer. First off,
Good afternoon.
I'll say this is very emotional, so I'm going to try my best not to keep you up there any longer than you would like to be. My first question is, I noticed that you are in uniform today. Is it fair to say that if you weren't here testifying that you would have been on duty today? Is it fair to ask that or say that?
Been at work today.
So, did you feel the testimony that you would be giving at trial today warranted you to be in uniform?
Objection, relevance, Your Honor.
Sustained. You do not need to answer that, sir. Next question, Mr. Brooks.
You said you've been in duty for 18 years, correct?
Yes.
In any of those 18 years, have you ever come across or had any interaction with the plaintiff in this matter?
Objection, vague.
Sustained. You do not need to answer that, sir. Next question, Mr. Brooks.
How long have you known the plaintiff?
Objection, vague and irrelevant.
Sustained. You do not need to answer that, sir. Next question, Mr. Brooks.
Do you see the plaintiff in court today?
Objection, vague and irrelevant.
Sustained. Next question.
Do you have any knowledge of the plaintiff?
Objection,
Sustained.
Have you ever even seen the plaintiff in this matter?
Same objection.
Sustained.
I want to go to the clip that was just shown.
Would you like it shown to the witness again and published to the jury?
I'm sure would he prefer for it to be so again?
I just wanted to know if that's what you were asking. You can certainly question him about it, and if need be, it can be shown again.
Okay, can you show the witness the video clip again?
Sure. All right, your question, sir.
In that clip, is it fair to say that you can see that there are people walking in the street and on the sidewalk? Would that be fair to say?
Yes, I could see that in the video clip.
Do you see the said driver of that vehicle intentionally trying to hit anyone in that video?
No.
So again, I would ask, were you brought here today to testify on behalf of the plaintiff?
Objection asked and answered.
Sustained. He already answered that he was why he's here.
Again, I would ask just one more time for the record. Do you see the plaintiff in court today?
Objection.
Sustained. Do you have any other questions, Mr. Brooks?
Do you know of the plaintiff at all whatsoever?
Objection.
Sustained.
No further questions.
All right, thank you. Any redirect?
No.
All right, thank you, Sergeant. You may step down. Is he released from his subpoena?
Yes, please.
All right, thank you. He's released.
Really quick on the record, if I may.
We're going to call the next witness. We have the jury in the courtroom. Do you have a question, sir?
I'll have a oral tennis motion I would like to be put on the record.
If you have a motion, you'll have to wait until after the next witness is called. Write it down, submit it on paper, and I'll review whether it's appropriate for this court to address. All right, the state may call the next witness.
The state calls Corey Runkle. Good afternoon, Ms. Runkle. Do you know a person named Erica Patterson?
Yes.
How do you know that person?
From the shelter.
What shelter are you talking about?
Women's shelter.
What city is the women's shelter in?
Waukesha.
And when did you meet Erica Patterson?
Around probably October, I think.
Okay. You are not used to testifying in court, right?
Not really.
And what were your living arrangements at the women's shelter?
We were bunking together.
You and Erica?
Yeah.
Okay. While you were bunking together with Erica at the women's shelter, did Erica ever talk about a boyfriend of hers?
It wasn't her boyfriend.
Okay. Did she ever talk about a man?
Yeah.
And what, did she ever provide the name of that man?
Yeah.
What was it?
Darrell Brooks.
Okay. Were you with Erica on the afternoon of November 21st, 2021?
Yes, until I split up with her.
Okay. Can you tell us where you were with Erica before you split up with her?
I forgot what park it was, but we were at, like, the park where the dragonfly was, except for we were at the docks.
Is that in Waukesha?
Yeah.
Okay. And the docks, are you talking about a river?
Yeah.
So the park by the river?
Yeah.
Okay. What were you doing with Erica in the park?
Hanging out.
Okay. Was anybody with you?
Yeah. Kyle.
Okay. And you mentioned that you split up with Erica at some point, is that right?
Yeah.
Do you remember why?
To go hang out with Nick.
Do you know Nick's last name?
Kirby.
Okay. And Erica didn't go with you?
No.
Okay. So what happened after you split up with Erica?
She met up with Darrell.
How do you know that?
because she was on the phone with him, and they said that they were going to meet up.
Now, before that day, November 21st, had you ever met Darrell Brooks?
No.
You'd only heard his name from Erica?
Yeah.
Okay. After you split up with Erica and she went to hang out with Darrell, did Erica ever contact you or Nick after that point?
Yeah.
How did that contact take place? Did she see you or did she call you?
No, she called me on my cell phone.
Okay. And what was the nature of that conversation?
That he was beating her up and he was following her.
Okay. What did you do when you learned this information from Erica?
Me and Nick started running to where she told us she was.
Where was that?
By the school.
Okay.
I forgot what school it was, but it was by the school.
All right. Did you find her?
Yeah.
Do you remember where you found her?
Right in front of the school.
Okay. Do you remember what was happening when you found her?
He was swerving into her.
When you say he, who are you talking about?
Darrell.
Darrell, the person?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you hear Darrell saying anything to Erica at that time?
He was yelling at her to get back in the car.
Okay. Did she?
No. She tried, but I pulled her away.
Okay. Before you testified today, you reviewed a couple of surveillance videos, is that right?
Yeah. No, not today, but a while ago.
A while ago, not
Yeah.
today. I'd like to put Exhibit 3 up on the screen for the witness for identification.
Go ahead.
So, Ms. Runkle, we're going to play a few moments from this video. I want you to watch and see if it's the same video that you've reviewed previously. Okay, so we're just going to play about 10 seconds here.
I could just tell that's her walking up.
Okay. Let's pause there. So you viewed this video. Is it an accurate depiction of how the events unfolded in front of the school you're talking about?
Yeah.
I move Exhibit 3 into evidence and ask to publish.
Any objection, Mr. Brooks?
Yeah, my objection would be, you've only played 5 seconds of the video, whereas the other 5, you just said 10 seconds that you would play. I'm curious to see the rest of the video.
Your objection is noted. It's overruled. This is for foundation to establish it's what the witness is going to testify about. She's testified. It's a fair and accurate depiction of what the events that unfolded in her presence. And I will receive Exhibit 3. Permission to publish is granted.
All right, we're going to hit play from the beginning.
There's his car.
Let's hit a pause.
Okay.
Let's hit pause. We're at 16 seconds. We saw a person wearing a blue shirt walking from the left. Do you know who that person is?
Erica.
Erica Patterson?
Yeah.
And when you said, there's his car, what car were you referring to?
The red one. The
And
SUV.
do you know who was driving that car?
Darrell.
Darrell Brooks?
Yeah.
Okay. And again, this would have been the first time you ever saw Darrell Brooks, is that correct? Okay. We're going to resume from that point, but wait until I pause again to speak again, okay?
I'm sorry.
That's okay. So we'll play from 16 seconds. Let's pause there. Pause at 2 minutes and 44 seconds. During that clip, we saw a red SUV towards the top of the screen, is that right?
Yeah.
And did you recognize that vehicle?
Yeah, that was Darrell's.
Okay. We see now at this stoppage point, we can see 2 people on the upper right-hand corner. Do you know who those people are?
Me and Nick.
Do you know which one you are?
The one with the green gloves.
So, left or right?
I think.
As we're looking.
The one up in front.
And then there's a person with a white hood. Do you know who that is?
That's Nick.
Okay, so you're the other one on the left?
Yeah.
All right. And you saw Erica?
Yeah.
All right, let's resume playing at 2 minutes and 44 seconds. Let's pause there. Pause to 3 minutes and 19 seconds. Who's the person in the gray hooded sweatshirt?
That's Darrell.
The objection's overruled. For answer my stand.
That's Darrell.
How far away would you say your face was from Darrell's face at this point in the video?
I was chesting up.
Chesting up?
Yeah.
So I guess that's pretty self-explanatory. Do you see Darrell Brooks either in the courtroom or on any monitors in the courtroom right now?
Yeah.
Your Honor, and actually for this point I would ask that the court order the defendant to remove his mask.
Mr. Brooks, you're ordered to remove your mask.
No, I'm not going to do that.
Mr. Brooks, we talked about this at a prior hearing. For purposes of identification, you're ordered to unmask. Thank you, sir.
So now I'll re-ask that question. Mr. Runkle, do you see Darrell, the person you're talking about in the video, either in the courtroom or on a monitor in the courtroom?
Yes.
Can you tell us where?
In orange?
On the monitor in front of you?
Yeah.
I'd ask the record reflect that the witness has identified the defendant.
The record will so reflect. Thank you, Mr. Brooks. You can remask.
Let's hit play and resume at 3 minutes and 19 seconds. All right, we've reached the end. Ms. Runkle, can you tell us what was happening in that last portion of the video we just watched?
Well, before Erica, me, and Nick showed up in the camera, that's when I ran after Erica from getting ran over, and then she tried to jump in the car with him, and then I ended up chesting up to him, and then we ended up going at it. So yeah.
How would you describe the level of your volume during that interaction?
Like, what do you mean?
Were you yelling?
I'd say yeah.
Was Mr. Brooks yelling?
Yeah.
Was anybody else in that video, either Nick or Erica, were they yelling?
Erica was telling me to stop.
Okay. And what happened after the physical confrontation with Mr. Brooks?
Nick pulled me away.
And then what happened?
And then Brooks walked off
Did you see where he went?
into his car.
The red SUV in the video
Yeah.
we just watched? Was there anybody else in the SUV at that point that you saw?
No.
And what happened next?
After that, it was like he headed out.
Okay. Did Mr. Brooks say anything to you or Erica or Nick as he was leaving?
He told Erica he was... Oh.
The basis for your objection, you said objection, right?
Is hearsay and irrelevant?
Is it being offered for the truth of the matter asserted?
Well, it's a statement by a party opponent, so it's not hearsay.
Oh, it's his statement. Sorry. I think I misheard what she said. All right. The objection is overruled. If it's she may testify as to words that you spoke on this occasion. So go
He told Erica that he was gonna find her and he's gonna kill her.
Can we pull up Exhibit 5 for the witness, please? Did you at any point come into contact with police or a police officer after Mr. Brooks left the scene that we just watched?
I forgot what that guy was at the little stoppers, like where it stopped everybody. But we came into contact with him, and then he called the police officer, and then we had contact with the police officer.
Okay. At any point while Mr. Brooks was still present for the scuffle, did you or anybody else in your group call the police?
No.
All right, Ms. Runkle, I'm showing you on your monitor a photograph that's been marked as State Exhibit number 5. Do you recognize that photograph?
Yes.
Who's in that photograph?
Erica?
Erica Patterson? Is that an accurate representation of how Erica looked the night of November 21st, so after the Waukesha Christmas Parade?
Yes.
I'd move Exhibit 5 into evidence and ask to publish.
Any objection?
Yep, on the grounds of that is hearsay.
The objection's noted. It's overruled. Exhibit 5 is received. Permission to publish is granted.
Were you with Erica Patterson the day before the parade, so November 20th?
Yes.
Did she have a swollen left eye on November 20th?
No.
I want to go back to the issue of police and whether or not you had contact with them. Can you describe in a little bit more detail what exactly happened with law enforcement after the defendant left the scene that we just watched?
I'm not sure where we walked, but I think we walked straight down to the parade. I'm not sure, but we stopped at these stoppers where there was this I don't know what he's called. It's not a cop, but he was a guard, and we ended up telling him that what happened, that Erica almost got ran over. I had to pull her away from the car, and he ended up calling the cops. He told us, "Hold on, let me call the cops," and a cop came, and we started talking to him.
Okay, but you don't, or do you remember the name of the officer that you spoke with?
I do not.
Okay. That's all the questions I have for this witness.
All right, Mr. Brooks, do you have any questions for this witness?
I sure do. So, my first question would be, you seem to be unclear about when you met Erica. Would you say it was roughly October or November because you wasn't sure which one?
Roughly in between.
Roughly in between.
Yeah. I know it was before Christmas.
Well, you just said that you had never seen her quote-unquote boyfriend or whoever she was referring to as that before the Christmas parade. Is that correct?
The Christmas parade was November, right?
He's asking you if you had seen...
Not before, but the Christmas parade was November. I'm just asking, right? Okay, so no.
Do you want her to restate her answer? She answered, she confirmed your question.
I wanted to be direct.
Okay, no, I have not.
So you just testified that you can identify who was driving the said vehicle as soon as you saw the video played. If you've never seen the driver before that day, how would you even know who it was?
I'll object. That is not a clear question. This is just going to confuse the witness. It's confused me.
I'll sustain it. Mr. Brooks, rephrase the question, please.
Would you play the video again, the first 10 seconds? I'm guessing that it was. Now, you just said, you just testified.
Hold on, it's playing. You want it to stop now?
Stop.
Okay,
You
Play the
just,
first 13 seconds for the witness.
thank you.
you just testified that as soon as you saw the vehicle come into the camera view, you said, "Oh, there's his car." How would you know whose car it was if you've never seen this person before that day?
Do you
Can
understand the question?
yeah.
Go ahead and answer.
Because I was told that she was gonna meet up with Darrell Brooks.
You were told this directly from Erica.
Yes.
Did at any time she ever tell you what kind of car he had and what kind of car he would be meeting up with her with, quote unquote?
No.
So how can you identify that it was the said person's car if you had no knowledge of what vehicle this said person would be driving, or who the person even was, or who what the person even looked like? How would you know?
Because I was told it was Darrell Brooks.
What is your name? Brooks. Darrell.
And so you were told that it was this name, but you were able to identify the vehicle and the person on the first day that you ever saw them.
Objection
Is that-
asked and answered.
Let him finish his question.
As soon as the car came into camera view, you immediately said on the record just a few minutes ago, "Oh, there's his car." Who was him? Who is his? Who were you referring to?
Darrell Brooks.
What is your name? Brooks. Darrell.
And you would be able to know that that was quote unquote Darrell Brooks just by seeing the car come into the view of the camera?
Now I'll object based on an asked and answered question.
Sustained. Mr. Brooks, are you trying to ask her whether at the moment in time she first saw the SUV, did she know who was driving? That would be a relevant question.
Did you know who was driving the SUV that you saw when you saw it?
Not in court, but when you first saw it on that date.
Yes, because I don't see why Erica would be talking to anybody else and getting yelled at by somebody else.
But did you know at that moment who was driving the car?
Yes.
And how would you know that? You just said that you had no knowledge of the vehicle that whoever Erica was meeting up with would be driving. So how would you know that?
Objection asked and answered and argumentative.
Yeah. Her answer previously, Mr. Brooks, was she's basing that on what someone told her, not based on what she saw at that point. That's at least how I took it.
So Erica told you the vehicle and how the vehicle would look?
Do you understand the question?
Say that again.
Mr. Brooks?
Erica, I'm
Restate
sorry,
the
I-
question. No, that's okay. Restate the question, sir.
so let's back up a little bit. Erica told you that she was meeting up with this Darrell Brooks, correct? That's what you said, right?
Correct.
And did she at any time tell you what vehicle this person would be driving and how the vehicle looked?
She did not.
So the first time you saw the vehicle, did you know who was driving the vehicle?
Yes, when she told me. When she told
What he's
me.
asking you though is, did you know based on personal observation,
Oh,
not
no,
based
not
on what
personal
someone told you?
observation.
So let's just make sure the record's clear what your answer is.
It's based on what I was told when I met up with her.
So it was told.
That's been established. It's been established what was told. So next question.
No, I was going to a different question. I didn't get to it.
All right, well then ask it, please.
I'm trying to. So, you were told after the vehicle drove away and you and Erica were alone? Is that when you were told?
Yes.
So, it would be fair to say that before you were told this, after the vehicle drove away, you did not know who was driving the vehicle, correct? Would that be fair to say?
Oh, I had a suspicion it was Darrell.
You had a suspicion or did you know?
Had a suspicion until I
So
asked
you
her.
didn't know.
Objection. Argumentative.
Yeah, so we've kind of been a little bit circular here, so the objection is sustained. I think we need to be clear, Mr. Brooks, when you ask your questions about what point in time. It's one thing to talk about when she first sees the vehicle because there's been no contact between her and the vehicle, but it's a different point in time when it's later. So you need to make clear at what point in time you're referring to so that your question is clear.
Got you. You identified the alleged defendant in court. Would that be fair to say?
Yes.
And the alleged defendant that you identified was the same person that you saw driving the vehicle that day.
Yes.
The video also shows that, well, let me back up. But matter of fact, let me ask a different question. You made reference to hanging out with Erica in a park, correct?
Yes.
With maybe one other person
Yeah.
present?
Yes.
Thank you.
Hanging out, what were you guys actually doing?
Drinking?
So, would it be fair to say that because of alcohol being involved, that there may have been a misinterpretation of what you saw?
No.
What you thought you saw?
Objection calls for speculation.
The question, the way it's asked, calls for speculation. If you could please rephrase it.
Oh, I asked it different. How much were you drinking? Was it a few beers, a bottle?
Half a
Something to that
pint.
effect? Half a pint. Do you remember what you were drinking?
Vodka.
Do you remember if Erica was drinking?
She was.
And you said that you separated at one point to go hang with another person. I can't remember the name, but would that be fair to say that you separated from Erica to go hang out with another person?
I did say that.
Was that person also drinking that day?
No.
Did that person overhear any conversation between you and Erica?
No.
Would that be the same person that was saw in the video?
Yes.
So that would be Nick. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
And is it true that you did give a statement about what you saw and heard that day?
Yes.
Fair to say? Would it be fair to say that in this statement that you gave, you never mentioned the person that you saw driving make any threats? Would that be fair to say?
I never mentioned.
Well, I have the statement right here in front of me. would it be fair to say that the statement that you gave that day, that you did not say in your statement that you heard any threats being made or yelled towards Erica? Would that be fair to say?
Possibly.
So do you remember giving a statement?
I remember giving a statement.
Do you remember what you said in your statement?
I do.
So I'm going to ask you again because I just asked. I have your statement in front of me. You did not mention any threats being yelled or made towards Erica. Would that be fair to say?
I did mention some.
What exactly did you mention?
That you were yelling at her, saying that you were gonna kill her and to get in the car.
And that's in your statement.
Yes.
Would you like me to read your statement to you?
Yes.
You sure?
Yeah, sure.
So I'll object based on the procedure that the defendant is employing at this point.
Sure. Mr. Brooks, there's a procedure. I can have the state bring up her statement, I hope, electronically to show her. It would, and then, all right.
Bring it up further see.
You'll want to direct her to what part. You can ask her to review it, ask her if that refreshes her recollection, and then you can ask her a question. Or even show her that and ask a direct question about it would be another way.
When will I be allowed to come back into the court so I can see everything?
You have earned your right to come back, sir. I mean, I can bring you back if you want to finish your questioning here.
I do.
All right, we'll take a short break for you to do that. All right, I'll have to excuse the jury for a moment. We'll be in recess as far as the cameras are concerned for that. Then, before we bring out the jury, if we need to talk a procedure, or Attorney Wichow, if there was something you wanted to address.
Thank you. I think there may have been some misunderstanding on the nature of this statement in question. This witness provided a statement to a police detective who then wrote a police report summarizing the statement. So the proper method at this point for the defendant would be to confront her by orally quoting from that, asking if she said or didn't say these things. To show her this statement isn't we're not refreshing her recollection. She didn't write this.
I see. So I didn't know that, but that certainly makes a lot of sense. Mr. Brooks, did you hear what Attorney Wichow just said about the procedure?
Is it a way to verify that is in fact procedure? Just to be clear for the record. Can you verify it?
I had referenced earlier that I thought you were trying. We might be showing her the statement to help refresh her recollection, but I don't have any of the statements in front of me, and I wasn't aware that it's the police report that may be referenced as. She wrote a statement apparently, but the police report is a summary of her statement. So
how it that kind of makes it problematic though. You could probably see what I'm getting at, Your Honor, by if it's a summary of what she said.
Do you have the statement do you have a written statement of hers?
Yes, I'm trying to get back to it. You know, I got a lot of stuff coming over here.
I know. So at this point, I don't need to show it to her, but you can ask questions. We'll bring the jury back out and you can continue.
Would this be left up for me to see though? Wow.
We can leave it up.
We can leave it up.
Okay.
Is the part that's up sufficient, or do you need to scroll up? Does the state need to scroll up a little bit for you?
I would only need this part that's on my screen now.
Okay.
And then whoever's stroll down a little bit past that to the second part.
How about that? You should be able to see both parts now. Starts with in summary near the top.
Yeah.
And then that's page 2 of 5, and then down below, presumably it says 3 of 5, but I'd like to bring the jury out, so let me know when you're ready.
Okay, I'm ready.
All right, let's have the jury brought back in. Mr. Brooks, you're doing a good job at coming up with questions and following the process, and I appreciate you asking to come back over here. All right, thank you, everyone. Please be seated. All right. Mr. Brooks, when you're ready, please continue with your cross-exam.
Okay. I'm gonna give everybody time to settle back in for a few seconds.
Okay.
So, Miss, is it Runkel?
It is.
You stated earlier that when you were hanging out with Erica at the park that you were drinking, right?
I did.
And you also stated that you guys separated and you went to go hang out with someone else.
With Nick, yes.
With Nick. You did state that Nick wasn't drinking, right?
Yes.
So I want to ask, earlier when I asked, I think you were asked by Attorney Whitchild if you heard any yelling or anything being yelled at Erica, or I'll forget how you phrased the question, but did you hear any yelling or anything directed towards you guys? And do you remember what you said?
I heard that you were yelling at Erica, telling her to get in the car, and that you were gonna kill her. That was you were gonna kill her was after the fact that you headed out, but that's probably not what you're asking. The fact of you were yelling at her, telling her to get in the car, was the time when you were around. Brooks was around.
Brooks or you? You said you, and then you said Brooks. But you did state that you had never seen Brooks before November 21st of 2021. Would that be fair to say?
Right.
And you also did say that you had only heard of him through Erica, correct?
Right.
At any time, did you ever observe any phone conversations or interactions between Erica and Brooks?
Am I allowed to answer that?
He's just asking you whether you have, not the content of any of those.
I have.
Would it be fair to say that you knew a lot of details about their relationship? Would that be fair to say?
I did.
What specifically did you know before November 21st, 2021?
Mr. Brooks? Sure you want to ask that question? Think about some of the pretrial rulings I've made.
Let me rephrase that.
Okay, good idea.
I'm sorry, I'm new. So, in your statement that I'm looking at right here on the screen, it says, it is Runkel, right?
Yes.
I don't want to mispronounce your name. It says, Runkel further stated that she heard Brooks telling Erica he was going to smash her face in and that he was going to kill her.
Yes.
I didn't.
I'm sorry.
Is that what you heard?
Yes.
So you didn't hear what you just testified to hearing?
No.
Or did you hear what I just read to you?
I heard that after you were leaving.
After?
Not that, what you just read. I heard that after you were leaving.
You do know that this is your statement that I'm reading from, right?
Okay,
I do.
We've established that, and this is argumentative.
Sustained. Rephrase.
I'm trying to figure out which one did you hear.
Objection. Vague.
Did you hear the I'm going to smash your face in, or did you hear what you previously said?
Well, I heard when you were sitting there arguing with her, I heard that.
Who is the you you're referring to?
Oh, I'm sorry. Brooks said that. when he was arguing with Erica.
What is your name? Brooks. Darrell.
And you claim that it says right here, but through knowing Patterson, she did know that Brooks was Erica Patterson's boyfriend. Did she ever tell you that Brooks was her boyfriend?
She said she said Brooks was her ex.
I'm a little confused by the statement and then the testimony right now.
Objection, that's not a question.
Sustained. Mr. Brooks, you need to formulate a question for the witness.
Did you
okay?
ever hear, now this is coming from your statement, Runkle stated that after a short dispute between her, Kirby, I guess that would be referring to Nick.
Yes.
After a short dispute between her, Kirby, and Brooks, she saw Brooks get back into the red SUV and heard him saying something to the effect of, I don't swear, so F you, effing bees, you're dead. Did you at any time hear anything like that?
Yes.
So when you just testified, why did that part of your statement never come up? Why did you never say that?
Because it probably wasn't brought up at that time, but it's in my memory.
So what all exactly did you hear?
I heard what you were saying.
We heard you say at this time? Like, the question's not clear to me. Like, what time frame? Who are we talking about?
When, because in the video it's clear that
Hold on, go back to your question. I didn't mean for you to not ask it. I just want to make sure I understand specifically who you're asking this witness about statements that were made.
I'm asking about who she said was the individual driving the vehicle.
Well, that's different than what you just asked. So if you want to change and go to that, that's fine.
You just clarified it a little bit. So what exactly did you hear coming from the individual who was driving the vehicle?
I'm sorry, can we just clarify at what point we're talking
Exactly.
about?
At the point that I guess I would refer back to the video at that point that we saw on the video.
So what point of the video? There's lots of points. That was many minutes long.
Roughly, I'm not sure, I think it was...
Can you describe what part of the video you want?
The part of the video when that she testified to, where she said she had the green gloves, and
So
she was
in the beginning of the video?
No, it was like towards the middle. She was standing in the street, and she said she had the green gloves because I think somebody asked her which one was she,
Right.
and she said the one with the green gloves.
I remember that.
At that point, did you observe anything being said out of said vehicle? Did you hear anything being yelled or screamed or anything like that at that point?
Well, before I showed up, I heard yelling.
You heard yelling before you showed up?
Yeah, because like before I showed up into the video.
So how far were you down the street that you were able to hear what was being said?
Objection.
Not.
Calls for effect, not in evidence. She didn't say what she heard. She didn't say she could understand what was said.
She can answer the question. I'm going to overrule it. I understand what the state is saying, but I think he's trying to establish where she was at that point in time. So go ahead and answer.
No, okay. I was right where you pulled up the second time.
Are you sure you know what I was asking?
It was not entirely clear to maybe all of us, but I was trying to give you some leeway. So
I knew you understood where I was going with that. Were you at let me say it like this. Were you at a distance before you came into that video? Like approximately how far away were you from the vehicle and from Erica? Before you heard anything being yelled or screamed, as you say.
I was at a distance.
So would it be fair to say that it would be hard to hear the conversation that was being had?
Not really. Brooks was yelling pretty loud.
So you were able to hear the gist of the conversation from the distance that you were at?
Yes.
Even with a parade going on and a street full of people, you were able to hear from a distance, which you just said you were at a distance, you were able to hear the gist of the conversation.
The parade was nowhere close.
Answer the question. Were you able to hear?
Oh, yes, sorry.
You were able to hear, even testifying that you were drinking vodka.
Yes.
What else did you hear?
At what point and by whom?
At the same point, what did you hear from Erica at that point?
I don't remember.
But you remember hearing something from the driver of the vehicle who was inside of the car.
Yep.
But you don't remember what you heard from Erica, who was outside of the car and would be more easier to hear.
Okay. Thank you for being specific at that. I remember Erica sitting there telling me that she wanted to go.
So she was telling you that from you being at a distance?
No, she was right next to me. That was when she was walking towards. She said, "Come on, let's go."
At what point was that? Because you just testified that you were at a distance.
Objection, argumentative. I'm also going to object to the manner in which this defendant is asking this witness these questions. He's intentionally misleading her. He's trying to confuse her.
Mr. Brooks, the purpose of cross-examination is to ask questions that are relevant, test her credibility, other things like that. It gets to be a little confusing, at times maybe a little argumentative. I don't have all the reports in front of me, so I can't say whether it's misleading or not. But ask a direct question. You're able to ask leading questions so that she can answer directly. Be as specific as you can, time, place, circumstances. It's helpful for all.
I mean, the video is very clear that...
But you can't testify right now, right? You can't make an argument about the video. So your opinion about it right now, that's not appropriate.
I want to...
Keep going. For the record, the objection was sustained.
You made a reference to being, a reference to chesting up with the driver of the vehicle. What was said at that point between you and who you were chesting up with?
Well, I'm not going to go back to that, but I was sitting there saying that you shouldn't be hitting a woman. No, Brooks should not be hitting a woman. And Brooks was saying that Erica Patterson is not a woman.
Are you sure that's what you heard? At that moment, when you were chesting up, in your words?
Yes.
You sure that's what you heard?
Yes.
What then happened from that point?
Then we started brawling it out. Oh, me and Brooks started brawling it out.
What do you mean by brawling it out?
Threw a couple punches. I threw a punch. Brooks smacked me.
So did you put that in the report that you made, or the summary of the report that you gave to, I think it was Attorney Wichau said, a detective?
Objection, there's no evidence this witness prepared a report or a summary.
Sustained.
Did you report that in your report?
It's something that's in my memory, but I hope I did.
Would it be fair to say that if you had just had a brawl with someone and you talked to police directly after the brawl that you would report it? Would that be fair to say?
Okay. I know you're asking a question, but
Hold on, you need to ask, you do need to ask,
okay.
you do need to answer his question. It called for a yes or no answer.
Okay, it's not in the report. I specifically said.
Hold on, that's not a question though, okay?
Sorry.
So that's okay. Ask your next question.
Would it be fair to say by the video footage that there was no brawl or punches thrown by either party? Would that be fair to say?
There was.
Can we show the witness the video again?
Are you asking her whether the video shows a brawl?
Would it be fair to say that the video shows a brawl in which you just said that punches were thrown? That'd be fair to say.
Okay, so what's a brawl to you?
You can't.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No.
Okay,
I think
well.
hold on, Mr. Brooks, are you trying to ask whether are you going to confirm with her that she saw the video, and then on that video, you cannot see a brawl between her and Mr. Brooks? Is that what you're trying to get at?
A version of that, yes, but I was
You got
gonna,
to ask the questions
I
though
was
to
gonna
get
say,
to that.
can the video be shown to her again?
Ask your questions, sir.
In the video that you saw, would it be fair to say that a brawl was not depicted on that video? Would that be fair to say?
Was depicted.
Can you see it in the video? Is that what you mean?
Yes.
That's what I mean.
Yes, I could see it.
You could see the brawl?
Yeah, I say it's a brawl. It's just just like a push, looks like a push, but it was a smack. And I got up and, yeah.
You got up, so you...
I got up and swung.
You were knocked to the ground?
No.
So where did you get up from?
From being pushed and smacked.
So you fell to the ground?
I didn't fall to the ground.
Sustained. Next question, sir.
So would it be fair to say that in the video it shows you being knocked to the ground?
I was not knocked to the ground. I staggered back.
Would it be... I got kind of thrown off for a second.
You and me both.
I
People need to make sure their phones and other electronics are not audible.
Would it be fair to say that the video does not show you being knocked to the ground at any point? Would that be a fair assessment?
So I'll object to relevance because the witness never testified that she was knocked to the ground. So this is not a question aimed at her credibility.
She just said she got knocked to the ground.
She did not.
She
said she got up. I'm sorry. She said she got up, which would constitute being, if you're not knocked to the ground or down,
war
you can't
words
get up.
here, Mr. Brooks. I'm
sorry.
It's okay. No, she was clear. I think she clarified what it meant by getting up, and it might mean something different to you than it does to her. But we need to keep going.
So can I ask what is getting up? What does getting up mean to you?
Stagger back.
So it would be fair to ask you then, does the video show you staggering back?
It does.
Does it show you being, as you called it, smacked?
It does.
Can we show her the video again?
Go ahead. Play the video.
You can stop. That's
All right, what's the time for the stopping of the video, please?
3 minutes and 47 seconds.
You just viewed the video again. That'd be fair to say.
I did.
At any time in that video, were you in fact smacked and staggered back?
Can I tell the exact time?
If you know, yes, go ahead.
At 3:23,
Can we see 323?
24.
Okay.
So we went from about 319 to 327.
Thank you. Your question regarding the video, sir?
My question again would be the same question. You just saw it again. In the portion of the video you just saw, would it be fair to say, on your part, your interpretation, that you were in fact smacked and staggered back?
Yes.
Next question.
Are you sure you weren't over exaggerating that?
No.
It looked like a push.
Objection recommended.
Sustained.
Would you say again what happened directly after that?
Directly after the smack,
Directly after what you say is a smack?
staggered back.
No, directly after that whole incident.
I call it get up, but I came back and swung.
Would it be fair to say that the video doesn't show any of that you just said? Would that be fair?
It shows it somewhere.
So would it be fair that you're saying your interpretation of what you just saw would constitute a brawl, as you say, or brawling it out, as you say?
Hold on, Mr. Brooks. I've given you a lot of leeway on this topic. What's the relevance of all of this at this point? I think you made your point about what happened and what didn't, and what's in the video and what's not, and the jury can ultimately decide that. You can argue it later on to the
I'm
jury.
sorry, I thought this state
Where are we going?
was supposed to object to that. If they saw an objection, I'm a little confused about that.
I need the questioning to kind of circle back to what's relevant for the trial.
Well, I thought it was relevant because of what the video is actually depicting.
And that video is going to speak for itself. It's been an exhibit.
Yes, it does.
And so you've asked a lot of questions about it. So let's move on. Under 906.11, that's my authority. I'm telling you to move forward. Next line of
Did you
questioning.
hear anything after the, as you say, brawling out? Did you hear anything coming from the vehicle? Was anything said to you directly coming from the vehicle at that point?
Would it be after you leave? Oh wait, Brooks leaves? Or when
I was
Brooks gets
clearing
in?
what I just asked after the brawling it out.
But you asked directed at her, and then you said anything from the vehicle. So that's a compound question. So you need to be specific.
Did you hear anything after the brawling it out, as you say? Did you hear anything directed towards you?
Directed towards me? No.
Did you hear anything directed towards Nick?
I remember something being said.
Do you recall what was said?
I do not.
Did you hear anything directed towards Erica?
Yes.
What did you hear directed towards Erica?
At what time?
Right after the brawling it out, as you say. Did you hear anything directed specifically towards Erica?
Not till Brooks left.
So, did you or did you not hear anything directed towards Erica after the brawling it out, as you say?
Oh, okay, no.
So, can we pull that statement up again? I'm reading directly from the statement where it says,
Mr. Brooks, it's May or may not be a statement, so you need to be accurate. I know you're referring to
The
a
summary,
police report.
the summary of the statement. I'm reading directly from the summary of the statement, where it says, Runkle stated that after a short dispute between her, Kirby, and Brooks, she saw Brooks get back into the red SUV and heard him saying something to the effect of F you effing bees, you're dead, as he was leaving.
So I'll object on 2 grounds. 1, asked and answered, and 2, this could confuse the witness because it's not. She used the F and the B.
Sustained.
It was something on the back end of that I didn't get to.
I'm not sure what you mean by that, sir, but you've already asked that question before, so the objection is sustained.
I actually don't recall asking a question directly to that part of the summary.
I do. You read through that previously.
Do you remember what the question was, so that I don't re-ask the same question?
Mr. Brooks, move on.
Did you ever hear something to the effect of F you effing bees, you're dead?
I did.
At what point did you hear that?
While Brooks was leaving.
So that would it be fair to say that you heard that after the brawling
Yes.
it out?
You shook your head. Can you say
Yes.
Thank you.
That's a little confusing. So
Mr. Brooks, that's not a question. You're attempting to
I'm
testify.
about to ask a question.
You
If I
can't
can
do
get
that.
to it.
Ask your question. But you also can't mischaracterize the testimony or the evidence up to this point.
What do you mean?
In your questions, you can't mischaracterize prior testimony or evidence. You have to be accurate. So
I'm trying to be, but it's
what's your next question, sir?
hard. Just a quick second.
Right, unless you have a different topic.
It is.
Anything related to this, what's in the summary, the questions regarding what she heard or didn't hear around this time, we've gone through that. You've gone through it. Under 906.11, you need to move on and ask a new line of questions.
I was trying to, if I can get to it.
Go ahead.
This part of the summary that I'm looking at now says Runkle stated that she did see pictures of Brooks following the Christmas parade incident via social media, and Runkle confirmed that was Brooks I don't know, it looks kind of, I don't know if that's a mark on my screen that's going through, okay. I couldn't read it.
I'll object. I don't think there was a question there.
Right.
I didn't get to it yet.
Well, then I'll object to the ongoing commentary with lack of any questioning.
And I'll sustain that objection.
Oh, I do have a question. You said that you had known Erica roughly since you were rooming up at the women's shelter. Would that be fair to say?
Yes.
Do you have any idea why she would refer to you as Corey Gray?
Because I go by that.
So how close would you say you guys were?
Close.
Close, like hung out all the time, every day?
Yes.
Do you know of any time before November the 21st of 2021 Do you know if any time before that Erica mentioned to you anything about the relationship that she had with Brooks outside of what you learned that day?
Can you say that again?
At any time before November 21st of 2021, did Erica ever confide any information to you before that day?
She did.
What was the nature of the information?
It's not allowed to be brought up.
I think she's referring to a pretrial ruling that she's aware of.
Yeah.
So, you want to rethink asking that question, sir? Otherwise, I'm going to allow her to answer it.
What pretrial?
I'm not going to state.
No,
that
I'm not.
right now.
Are we both privy to the same pretrial procedure?
There was a pretrial ruling about.
Do you want her to answer that question, or do you want to move on?
I want to move on.
All right, I'll strike that question from the record. The jury will disregard the question that was asked.
During the brawling out point, was there any interaction between the driver of the vehicle and Nick?
There was.
Do you remember what the nature of that interaction or exchange was between those two?
I don't know. I just remember jumping in front.
Do you recall any threats being made towards Nick or from Nick towards the driver of the vehicle?
Oh, I do.
Relevance.
Overruled, she may answer.
I do.
Do you remember what was said specifically?
Not specifically, but I remember Brooks getting mad because Nick was coming to Erica's rescue. Right along with Corey. Me.
Do you recall any knife being involved in any of that situation during that exchange whatsoever?
No knife.
Were you aware that that was why police was responding to that incident?
I did not.
Did you at any time have a knife during that incident?
I did not.
Do you know if Nick had a knife during that incident?
He did not.
Do you know if Erica had a knife Do you know if Erica had a knife during that incident?
She did not.
Do you recall reporting that a knife was involved in that incident?
I do not.
Do you recall if Nick reported a knife being involved in that incident?
It's possible.
Do you recall Erica reporting that a knife was involved in that incident?
I do not.
You testified to drinking a half pint of vodka that day. Was that the only thing you had to drink that day?
Yes.
Would it be fair to say that you were tipsy?
Yes.
Would it be fair to say that you may even have been intoxicated?
No.
For any reason, that day, acknowledging that you were drinking, would that have impaired your thinking of the situation in any way?
No.
So, would it be fair to say that you were of clear and sober mind during that whole incident after drinking a half pint of vodka?
Yes.
So there, to the best of your memory, there wouldn't be any reason why you may have left something out or maybe not been clear about anything that happened during that specific incident?
Possibly left some things out.
Do you remember what they might have been?
No.
Do you know the plaintiff?
Objection. For previous reasons.
Sustained.
Have you ever seen the plaintiff?
Objection.
Sustained.
Have you ever had any interaction with the plaintiff?
Objection.
Sustained.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Thank you. Any redirect?
Very, very briefly, Your Honor.
Go ahead.
Ms. Runkle, you met with Detective David Van Els to provide a statement on November 22nd of 2021. Do you remember that?
Yes.
That's accurate?
Yes.
Okay. You remember telling Detective Van Els, when he was asking you about this incident, that when you arrived, you heard Darrell Brooks telling Erica Patterson that he was going to, quote, smash her face in and that he was going to kill her, end quote.
Yes.
Okay. Do you remember telling Detective Van Els that as you saw Brooks get back into the red SUV, you heard him say something to the effect of, quote, fuck you, fucking bitches, you're dead, end quote.
I do.
Okay. During your cross-examination, you repeatedly referred to a person as Brooks. The person depicted in the video, Exhibit 3, the person that you chested up to, is that person in the courtroom?
He is.
Can you point him out for us and just very clearly tell us where he's sitting, what he's wearing?
You want me to point?
Yes, please.
Right, he's right there and he's wearing orange.
I'd ask the record to reflect that the witness has identified the defendant.
It will.
And I have no further questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. You may step down. All right, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, this will be an excellent stopping point for us this evening. Thank you for your patience. With that, you are excused. I will provide information to Pete and Mike shortly as to what time we will start back up tomorrow. Thank you. All rise for the jurors. Mr. Brooks, I want to commend you for a couple of things. Number one, asking to come back into the courtroom. I really appreciate that. I appreciate you being here. I think it runs much smoother when you are here, assuming you follow all the rules, which you have done a very good job at this afternoon. I also want to commend you on cooperating with the process even before you were brought over here. You were respectful. But you also made appropriate objections. You asked questions on cross-examination. Despite not wanting to unmask at first, you did do that, and I appreciate that. You asked some cogent, relevant questions, some of which went directly to the credibility of the witness. I would add, you might not always artfully ask the questions, but I think you're making some solid points. I would encourage you to keep prepping, to have questions written out based on the materials that you have. I really appreciate that you came back over and that you've been following the rules. I also want to encourage you, sir, to, if you choose, to wear your suit or other street clothes. It is your choice. I will let you make that choice. Is there anything the state wants to address right now or any record you want to make?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Mr. Brooks, anything you want to address right now or any record you want to make?
No, just thank you for giving me a chance to come back in, and I appreciate what you said.
It works well when you're here, sir. I hope we continue this.
Something very, very quick. I was waiting for my COVID results to come back before I feel comfortable getting back dressed up. So I kind of just prefer to just stay in the orange right now.
All right, that's your choice.
They said I should be having the results hopefully by the time I get back, I might know something. If not, I'll know something tomorrow morning. So that would be a big influence on.
Okay, fair enough. That's it for today. Good night, everyone. We'll see everyone at 8:30 tomorrow morning.